Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Ballava Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Ballava Girivardhari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Ballava Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Ballava Girivardhari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Bolo! Hare Ramo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Prabhakatiyarastarasishimad, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Prabhakatiyarastarasishimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premananda Haribol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Just a minute. Handkerchief. कुछ नहीं हो गया, सब ठीक है. Do you have tissue? Tissue. You get tissue. Bring tissue, no? Do you have tissue? Got the cough. Too many cold showers in the winter. Thank you very much. Oh, very nice tissue. So, kappa. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Jnana, all together please. Sorry, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Om Jnana Timarandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Parakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishvari Vrishabhana Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, translation and commentary, Srila Prabhupada. Today's verse is 60 of chapter 18. Chapter entitled The Perfection of Renunciation. So, please repeat. Svabhāva-jena kaunteya nibaddhaḥ svena karmaṇā kartum necchasi yan mohāt kariṣyasy avaśo pitat svabhāva-jena kaunteya nibaddhaḥ svena karmaṇā kartum necchasi yat mohāt kariṣyasy avaśo pitat. Sopiat svabhāva-jena kaunteya nibaddhaḥ svena karmaṇā kartum necchasi yad mohāt kariṣyasy avaśo pitat svabhāva-jena kaunteya nibaddhaḥ svena karmaṇā kartum necchasi yad mohāt kariṣyasy avaśo pitat. Okay, have a go.
Svabhāva-jena nibaddhaḥ karmaṇā kartum necchasi mohāt kariṣyasy avaśo pitat svabhāva-jena nibaddhaḥ karmaṇā kartum necchasi mohāt kariṣyasy avaśo pitat
Svabhāva-jena kaunteya
nibaddhaḥ karmaṇā
kartum necchasi
mohāt kariṣyasy avaśo pitat. Svabhāva-jena kaunteya nibaddhaḥ svena karmaṇā mohāt kariṣyasy avaśo pitat. Okay, please, word for word, please repeat. Svabhāva-jena, born of your own nature. Kunteya, O son of Kuntī. Nibaddhaḥ, conditioned. Svena, by your own. Karmaṇā, activities. Kartum, to do. Na, not. Icchasi, you like. Yat, that which. Mohāt, by illusion. Kariṣyasy, you will do. Avaśaḥ, involuntarily. Api, even. Tat, that. So, translation Srila Prabhupada. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction. But, compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same. O son of Kuntī, please repeat. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction. But compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kuntī. Yes. So, purport Srila Prabhupada. If one refuses to act under the direction of the Supreme Lord, then he is compelled to act by the modes in which he is situated. Everyone is under the spell of a particular combination of the modes of nature and is acting in that way. But anyone who voluntarily engages himself under the direction of the Supreme Lord becomes glorious. So, short purport. Mukam karochi vācālam pangam laite garim yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam svabhāva-jena kaunteya nibaddhaḥ svena karmaṇā kartum necchasi yat mohāt kariṣyasy avaśo pitat. Translation. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction. But, compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kuntī. So, yes. So, you see that first word there, svabhāva. Svabhāva-jena, svabhāva. So we all have what is called svabhāva. That means our material situation, bodily and mentally. Svabhāva. It means assumed nature. So that is the result of our interaction with the modes of material nature, through desire, through karma, so on and so forth. So we have svabhāva, a particular nature. That means mentality. So in the material world, this is upadhi. You know that sloka, sava upadhi vinayamuktam tatparatena niyamalam. Rishikesha rishikena sevanam bhakti uchate. When all the upadhi, which means unwanted things, are gone, then one can engage in pure bhakti, which is to serve Rishikesh, the master of the senses. So, as Krishna is pointing out here, because of our svabhāva, we are impelled to act in a certain way. But this is the barrier to spiritual behavior, because we consider, I am this material body, the desires of my mind, they are generated by me, happiness will be the satisfaction of this bodily form. And this goes for every living entity in the material world. If you're a dog, you think, I want to act in this way, I'm forced to act in this way. Where if I'm a donkey, if I'm a cow, if I'm a tree, and they're all particular svabhāva, they're all assumed nature, they're all upadhi. Upadhi particular means unwanted designation. Vinaya muktam. They have to be kicked out. So, Krishna is saying here, Arjuna, you are now refusing to act under my direction. He's talking back to the beginning of the Gita, where Arjuna said, I will not fight. I cannot take part in this battle. It is not pleasing. I have to fight and kill my relatives, and they will, even if I'm victorious, I'll not be happy. It'll be bad karma, so on and so forth. So this is acting. Arjuna is illustrating, of course, this is Leela, how we act in the material world. We consider everything relative to ourself, what is good for me. And we judge everything according to our svabhāva. Oh, this is my nature, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. It is very simple. Bhakti Vinod Thakur in Jaiva Dharma, he explains that the living entity, he's acting on two things. And that is, he's trying to increase pleasure and he's trying to avoid displeasure or suffering. He's trying to attain pleasure and he's trying to avoid suffering. And he's making all decisions on that basis, on the basis of a bodily platform. So Arjuna is acting like that. And so all animals, all living entities that are conditioned in the material world, they all have that idea. The dog, the camel, the ass, the donkey, the trees, the trees are trying to get the light and enjoy in that way. They're trying to avoid this. Of course, they're in a very low state of consciousness. But all animals are trying to increase and enjoy and avoid suffering. So the living entity, he is impelled in this way. He's under the spell of the material modes. It's not that he can just sit down. Arjuna, at the beginning of the Gita, he says, no, I don't want to take part. So he wants to void it. He wants to become nihilistic. So there is that philosophy of nihilism. I just want to cancel everything. And sometimes people, they even commit, or they try to commit, suicide. And then in the spiritual platform, there is also a kind of spiritual suicide where people think everything is suffering, so it is best to non-exist. That is kind of, so they want to merge into the nothingness. So you have nihilistic religions like Buddhism and so on and so forth, where they say the perfection of life will be to non-exist. And you are existing because of desire. So you cancel that desire and there's no reason for you to exist. And when you don't exist, you won't be unhappy about not existing because you're not existing. So they have this philosophy. However, this ignores the fact that the soul is eternal. Jiva bhuta sanatana. The soul is eternal. And spiritual suicide or material body suicide, these are the wrong behavior. But here Krishna is giving the solution. Okay, Arjuna, you have to act under my direction. And this is the difference. That we have our svabhāva, our nature. But the beginning of bhakti means to engage that in the service of Krishna. Now, in the Brahma Samhita, there is a very interesting section at the end. Of course, you know Brahma Samhita. You're all devotees, very learned, and you study it every day. So, there are the slokas and so on. And then at the end, I'll read the sloka. Yes. Verse 57, Krishna says to Arjuna, on hearing these hymns, this is descriptive. On hearing these hymns containing the essence of the truth, the Supreme Lord said to Brahma, Brahma, if you experience the inclination to create offspring, that is his role, this is the beginning of the universe, by being endowed with the real knowledge of the glory of Godhead, listen, my beloved, from me to this science set forth in the following 5 slokas. So I recommend you all to get a Brahma Samhita and read these 5 slokas, because it is the complete summation by Krishna of the process of bhakti. So now later on, we will hear Sarvadharma Prijajama Mekam Sharanam Vraja, right? Give up all your material dharmas and just surrender to me. Perform Shuddha Bhakti. So it's very interesting to see that in these 5 slokas, number 4, yes, the 4th one, which is 61, is very similar to that sloka, Sarvadharma Prijajya. So let's have a look. I'll even chant the Sanskrit so you know. Dharmam anyad parijajya mamekam bhajva vishvasan. Right? The other one is Sarvadharma, give up all dharma. But here Krishna said, give up all those dharmas and mamekam bhajva, just worship me. Bibaswam. Yadrasi shraddha siddhir bhavati tadrisi. Kurvan nirantaram karma lokoyam anuvartate. Te naivar kamanā jaya mam param bhakti icchati. So, what does that mean? Abandoning all meritorious performances, serve me with faith. So this is the same thing, right? Sarvadharma parijajya. Give up all your material karma kanda, jnana kanda, all your search for empirical knowledge, even of the Vedic knowledge. Give up your ideas of karma and just serve me with faith. Yadrasi shraddha. The realization will correspond to the nature of one's faith. So Krishna is saying that, right? Now, instead of acting according to your upadhis under Mahamaya, serve me with faith. And then you'll be under Yogamaya. So Yogamaya means union. Maya in this Maya means energy. So when we act for our own selfish satisfaction, we are under Mahamaya. But when we're serving Krishna with faith, we enter the realm of Yogamaya. And that is the dividing line. We've often given the example that on one side of the energy is Mahamaya, where we're serving ourselves, our own ends, or our extended self, our family, our friends, our society. Duryodhana is a good example of that. He's on the battlefield, right? He just wants to be the big king. So he's serving himself. So he's under Mahamaya. And so everyone else in the material world who's acting for their own satisfaction is under Mahamaya. But through svabhāva, serve me with faith, Krishna says. This is the important point, which we're always saying, right? That the connection to Krishna, the spiritual platform, is through svabhāva. Sevan mukhi hi jivado swayam eva spuriyada. That the Supreme Lord reveals himself to that faithful devotee who's serving him with faith. Abandon all meritorious activities and serve me with faith. Have some svabhāva. So this is what Krishna has been explaining to Arjuna. That you're thinking, you're acting according to your ideas, that's put you in Mahamaya. But you should act in Yogamaya by serving me with faith. You have to serve somebody. You can serve yourself or you can serve the Supreme Lord. Mama angsa jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. Your real function is to serve me with faith and love and devotion. But now you're acting according to the bodily platform, and that is connecting you to the dull material energy, and you're suffering. But yoga, what does it mean? Yogamaya means that energy which gives connection to Krishna. And therefore, when one is connected to Krishna by the svabhāva, then he is connected to the reservoir of all pleasure, right? Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha, unlimited. He is Purushottam. And when we connect to him, we're in our natural condition, our spiritual nature flourishes and manifests, and we live eternally in bliss and knowledge. But if we are acting for our own self, we become under Mahamaya, and then we are in the cycle of birth and death, and our upadhis change, our body changes. Actually, the subtle body does not change. It develops, it changes. It does not die in the way that we will give up this body one day and then get another body in the material world, but it actually, the subtle body stays with the soul, but it develops different svabhāva, a different mood of enjoyment in the material world. Because of our svabhāva, we may have a female body, we have a male body, we may have an animal body, we may have an insect body, we may have so many, 8,400,000 categories. So that gives us disconnection, but when we learn to serve the Supreme Lord through the medium of the directions of the spiritual master, through the words of the acharyas, through the Vedas, Shastra, Acharya and Guru and Sadhu Sangha, they inspire us to serve the Supreme Lord. We awaken the Bhakti Lata Bij. And then the soul flourishes, it grows, just like a plant. It may be a seed, but then when it's the sunlight, hopefully spring will come, and then this plant flourishes, it develops. It actually, the consciousness develops. And under the light of the Supreme Lord, the devotee realizes his own nature. That is Swarup Siddhi. So that is the fruit of Yogamaya and Sadhana Bhakti, that one realizes one's eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. But in the material world, that is covered. That's like the seed sleeping. So whatever development you make, there's no loss or diminution. So therefore, some people are more developed spiritually, more realized, and some are less. It says in the necchasi, yadrasi, yadrasi, shraddha. Serve me with faith. And then he says, tadrasi, tadrasi, siddhir bhavati tadrasi. He said, the perfection you get, the siddhi, the realization that you get, will be corresponding to... I just read a little of the purport while I was waiting there, and in the purport there it says that according to the transparency of the faith, your realization of Krishna and your relationship to Krishna will be there. So transparency of faith, it means that there's no doubt, there's no confusion, there is just a realization that is very transparent, that is very clear, just like good water. It's clear. So the devotee, his mind, his consciousness is very clear. He has very implicit faith. And he realizes Krishna at every moment, right? We're often quoting that verse. What is that verse? Yasya deve parabhaktir yasya deve tata guru tashyate kahita yasa prakashante mahatmana. To that great soul who has implicit faith in Krishna and the spiritual master, that means all the acharyas also, all the Shastra, the Bhagavatam, everything is automatically revealed. Prakashante mahatmana. It is an automatic function of the soul to understand things correctly. So that is through Yogamaya. In the Mahamaya situation where we're acting for ourselves, we're confused. What is my best course of action? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I this? So that is Mahamaya, confusion, and that causes anxiety. But the yadrasi, tadrasi, shraddha, it means you get this perfection of just Krishna is real. And my relationship with Krishna is real. It is eternal. And you live in that realization. So, on a point of sadhana, that is very important to realize something. And this is what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta had a big fight about. And there is a basic division in Vaishnavism. And that is that one set of people think you create your swarup by sadhana. But then the other division is, which is correct actually, is that your swarup is dormant within. Just like the seed has the plant within. So we don't have to create through imagination and meditate upon Leela and meditate on myself in a particular form in the Leela. What we have to do is realize Krishna. And just it's stated in the Gita that when one realizes Krishna, it's just like the sun is rising. Just like when the sun comes up, you see everything. So when Krishna's realized, you realize your swarup, your relationship with Krishna. So this is the important point. In the other idea, different Vaishnav Apasampradaya, as it must be said, they consider I must meditate upon myself in a certain way to develop my swarup. So you'll hear this if you live in Vrindavan, you go to different places, and those people, they think that there is no swarup, that the soul, it is basically a kind of Mayavad philosophy. They will say things that the soul doesn't have ananda, it doesn't have chit, it is only sat, and it appears only in the material world. And then through sadhana we develop a spiritual form. But no, that is, so the spiritual form is intrinsic, it is constitutional. So you'll find that that's what Prabhupada and all the acharyas are saying, the constitutional form. It's there, it's eternal. Just like every seed has the design of a plant within. It's not that every seed this seed can become an oak tree by meditation, or this seed can become some wheat or some flower or a sandalwood tree. No, they have an intrinsic nature. And we have an intrinsic nature. Krishna is Satchit Ananda Vigraha. That means it is one substance, but it has four aspects that we look at. Just in the same way that when we look at a fire, the fire is one, but there's two aspects. That's the light and the heat, right? But the fire is one. So four aspects of the soul is Sat, Chit, Anand, and Vigraha. Vigraha means form and personality. It refers to our swarup. We are eternal, and we are Chit, we are conscious. But those people, sometimes they open institutions in the name of the 6 Goswamis and they preach all this nonsense. Oh, the living entity has no chit or no anand, but maybe he has a little chit, but he has no anand. He only gets anand when he goes to spiritual loka. No, but Sachit Ananda, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. What does Krishna say? Apariyamitasvam yam prakritim vidi me param. That the jiva bhuta mahabhaho yetam yedate jagat. That the jiva is eternally a person. He is Devi Prakrita. But this deviant idea is that the jiva, he doesn't have any form in the conditioned. And this is the Mayavadi idea, that the soul, when he contacts the material, is just created, the individual soul is created just by the interaction of the impersonal Brahman with the three modes of material nature. That is their basic theory of Mayavad philosophy. But Vaishnavism, the true message of the Vedas, no, the jiva, just like Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha, we are particles of Krishna, same in quality, we are also Sat. We are also having Chit. We are also having an end constitutionally in our nature, and we also have a spiritual form constitutionally in our nature. So this is very important, because if you understand this, then you realize I don't have to get complicated. I have to realize Krishna by Shravanam Kirtanam. Right? Then Smaranam will arise, and then my nature will be revealed as I realize Krishna. Just in the same way that the sunlight reveals everything when it comes up in the morning. So Yadrasi Tadrasi Shraddha, Siddhir bhavati tadrasi. According to your realization, you will get, your faith. So your faith is based on your experience of the Supreme Lord, right? So you get the experience of the Supreme Lord through svabhāva, right? So this is a very important point, because you can understand the apasiddhanta, because they are thinking, I'll meditate on my swarup, then I'll get bliss and ananda, and I'll enter into the spiritual world, and I'll live eternally. Where is the svabhāva? You understand? They are approaching spiritual life as a means to get more pleasure. Do you see the difference? I'll get my swarup and then I'll enjoy. By meditating on myself in this form, as a gopi, as a cowherd boy, I'll just choose. My guru will give me instruction how to develop this form. This is all concoction. It's not in the Bhagavatam, it's not in the Gita, it's not in the words of the accomplished acharyas. The form of the living entity is constitutional, but it is dormant. Just like the plant is dormant within the seed, but it is constitutional to the seed. Everyone understand this point? Very important point, because you have to understand that you have everything. You have swarup, you have your relationship with Krishna, but by realizing Krishna, that will naturally awaken. If you chant mantra, Hare Krishna mantra, which means, please engage me in your service, Radha and Krishna. Please make me your servant. And all the Vaishnavas, mohāt sevam dora maho vimuktes, right? By serving the Mahatma, you go through the door to liberation. Surabhakata charana renu, service to the pure devotee. So the pure devotee, svabhāva, to the pure devotee means serving Krishna. I think you're all accomplished in Vaishnav sadhana understanding. Through acting according to the directions, Krishna says here. You're not acting according to my directions, Arjuna. He's saying, I'm your spiritual master, Arjuna. You've surrendered to me. Now if you act according to the directions of me, your spiritual master, you will achieve liberation from material problems, upadis, and you will enter the spiritual platform. You will attain eternal life of bliss and knowledge. So that is the medium. That's also in today's verse, right? Let's review today's verse. You are now declining to act according to my direction, right? So that is it. As Vishwanath Chakravarti said, for the disciple, the order of the guru, the bona fide guru, that is the life and soul of the devotee. So sometimes people say, okay, who is that bona fide guru? Well, that is two words, if you really want to understand. Mandaka Upanishad, we've quoted this, and it's there in Prabhupada's slokas. If you want to know what is the qualification of bona fide guru, just two words you have to understand. What are those two words? Those two words are Shrotriyam Brahmanistākyam. Shrotriya means that he is a master of the Vedic literature, the Shruti, the Smriti. He has understood that. So he's very accomplished in the science of spiritual life and the knowledge of material world. He knows the Vedic Siddhanta, Shrotriyam. Now that's very easy actually to understand it in a basic way. But then the next point, Brahmanistākyam. He is situated in the spiritual energy. Just like Krishna says in the Gita, Devim Prakritim ashrita. Mahatmanastamam patha. The Mahatma is the person who is situated in the spiritual energy. So he's in the spiritual energy by his svabhāva, by his ecstatic realization of the Supreme Lord. He's realized Krishna through svabhāva, and that svabhāva is developed by taking the instructions of the spiritual master as one's life and soul. So, Krishna is explaining all that in neat form here. Now, so you might say, oh, Krishna summarized everything. Okay, I'll serve Krishna with faith. But, wait a minute. I don't have very much realization of Krishna, and I'm still in my material body. Right? I'm waking up in the morning feeling hungry, and I don't want to take a cold shower. It's winter. I've got all this upadhi. How can I, get beyond this? I'm in the neophyte, I'm in the sadhana stage. I'm not in bhava bhakti, I'm in buddhi bhakti. Right? Buddhi yoga. Bhava bhakta and buddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga means that I am pursuing union with Krishna, yoga, because I've gained some empiric knowledge. I've gained some understanding of the scripture. I've been inspired by the Guru's spirituality, and I think, yes, I'll do it. So that is buddhi. I'm not inspired by ecstatic love of God. I'm inspired by my intelligence. And that's very good. That's what the sadhaka wants. Should have that. So the first stage of bhakti is to gain siddhanta, to learn what is sambandha, avideya, prayojan. That is buddhi yoga. And then on the basis of that, develop bhava bhakti by satisfaction of the Guru and Krishna. So that is how we overcome upadhi. Oh, sounds good. But say something practical. I'm a doctor in Delhi. I'm an engineer in Lucknow. What shall I do? So we know Krishna's explained karma yoga, right? Yet we talked about this last week when Ramananda Roy was talking with Lord Chaitanya. He said, "Oh, I'll tell you what to do. You follow Varnashram." And Lord Chaitanya said, "Oh, well, that's okay, but it's external." Then he said, "Yad karosi, yad nasi, yad." Do your Varnashram as an offering to me. And then Krishna said, "Now you're getting better there, Ramananda, but go further. It's still external because you're offering your Varnashram duties, but that's related to your upadhi, your material conditioning. You're conditioned to act as a Kshatriya Arjuna. Now that's your nature, so you want to just go to the forest and give up your fighting, but you're not ready for that. You're not ready to be a Babaji under the tree in ecstasy, like Madhavendra Puri. There's that verses by Madhavendra Puri. Oh, now I have attained prema. He was in Vrindavan, and he's saying, I give up my sacred thread. I give up my austerity. Now I am just immersed in ecstasy. There's a sloka like that by Madhavendra Puri. Also, Prahlad Maharaj in Bhagavatam, after he attained status, then he went around the universe to see the saintly persons, right? And he went to see one Avaduta who was just lying on the side of the road, completely in ecstatic love of God. And then there is Jadbharad. He didn't want to engage. So there is a stage beyond rules and regulations where the bhava, the ecstasy, is such that the rules and regulations can be passed aside. But how to get there? Yes, we want to follow sadhana bhakti, but we still have to do some work. So Krishna explains it nicely here. The people of this world, act ceaselessly. This is what Krishna is saying here also. He said, you will be forced to act by your own nature. You will act all the same, Arjuna. So we're always active. Even when we sleep, our consciousness is active, right? We dream. There is susupti, dreamlessly, but that's where we kind of merge into a Brahman state and the soul becomes refreshed. Because when the soul is acting in the material energy, in Mahamaya, it becomes exhausted. So he has to sleep. Oh, I got to get away from this three modes. So he goes into susupti, deep sleep. And sometimes, but we're still active then, because people wake up and they say, wow, I slept like a rock. I feel so refreshed. I haven't slept like that for ages. Right? So they feel refreshed. That's because they withdraw from the modes, from swapna, dreaming state, or they kind of become more inert. Not inert, but it shows that even in susupti, you're still chit, you're still conscious, because you know when you awaken to jagra, the external world, you remember I had a good sleep. So you remember your dreams, you remember your previous state. So even in susupti, when dreamless sleep, you're still aware, you're still conscious. So we're acting ceaselessly in this world, because the soul is not static, it is ecstatic, it is active. And that is the proof. That is the proof that the soul is constitutionally the same as Krishna. Krishna is also ecstatic. He's always engaging in lila and creation and ideas and engagement. He's not vibrating impersonally. So, people of this world act ceaselessly in pursuance of some ideal. That means they adopt, I want to achieve this, like we explained before. They want to avoid suffering and they want to capture pleasure. So that's their ideal. I'll marry the girl of my dreams. I'll become a rich man. I'll become a great politician. I'll do this. They have some ideal. Right? Sometimes they get broken by the material energy, and like we say, I don't want to live anymore. And they become melancholic and depressed. And then they think, I'll become a Buddhist and then I'll just become void. But we should avoid the void. But actually it's easy to avoid the void because a void is nothingness. So if it's nothingness, you can't go there. Actually, that is another philosophical point. There is only creation. You understand? The creation is unlimited. There is not a section beyond the creation that is void. You understand? Sometimes when we're young man looks at the sky with his friend in the evening and he says, the universe is so big. But what's at the end of the universe? We think like that because we're thinking in a dualistic way. But actually, the universe doesn't end. The material creation, the spiritual creation, Krishna is unlimited. But we are thinking in the conditioned state in a limited fashion. And that unlimited nature of Krishna is Sat. That's the Sat aspect. It is eternal, unlimited existence. So we can meditate upon that aspect. Krishna is existence, but it is unlimited existence. And this is what the great sages are doing. People are meditating and they're thinking, what does that mean? Krishna is unlimited. And they're in samadhi, meditating. And through the mercy of Krishna, they're getting realization. Prakashante mahatmana. right? So, anyway, I don't want to digress too much. So people act now. Okay, everyone's trying to do something and get something in this material world according to their svabhāva, their materially assumed nature. By meditating on me, by means of those deeds, one will obtain devotion characterized by love in the shape of the supreme service. Right? Meditating on me by means of those deeds. So this is very interesting. We want to meditate on Krishna, but by means of those deeds. So again, which we're always discussing, that we have a particular nature, but we act according to that nature. Krishna is telling Arjuna, but we act as an offering to Krishna. And we'll see that later on in the Gita, right? Manmana bhavamad bhakto. Oh, put your mind on Krishna. Very nice. In a devotional way. But then, what's next? Majjaji. That means that everything that you do, even taking cold bath early in the morning, in the winter, is an offering to Krishna. I'm going to Mangalarti, it's my offering to Guru and Krishna. I'm chanting the name, it's my offering. I'm helping, I'm making the class, I'm bringing water for a devotee, I'm taking prasadam. This is all my offering. This is my svabhāva. By meditating upon me, by means of those deeds, we have to work to maintain this body. So then the upadhi, this material body, no longer becomes an upadhi. It becomes the means of service. You understand? Just like we explained a few months back in the Uddhava Gita, Krishna tells Uddhava, look, you want to realize me? I'll tell you the best way to realize me. This is Krishna. We can bring it in next week. Don't think of me in Golok. Well, it doesn't say that, actually. But he says, you realize me in the heart of all living entities. That's, and this, Krishna says in that 29th chapter, 11th canto, this is the best means of realizing me. So you can meditate on Krishna in Golok. I may have misstated that. But if you, and then Krishna says, then you will transform this material world into sadhana, into a means of realizing me. You'll realize that this material world is spiritual, because this material, so-called, is the kingdom of Krishna also. It is also completely belonging to Krishna. But we're not seeing it that way, because we're not seeing Krishna. And then you have the dualistic man-made religions. They think, oh, this is the devil's domain. And then God is in heaven. And the devil is here tempting us. But no, that is the mankind. Like I say, mankind is making a religion in a dualistic way. There is creation and non-creation. No, there is only creation. There's only existence. And there is only the spiritual world. But you have to realize that now, here, not in some kind of imaginative state. Yes, in the advanced state, we remember Krishna's Leela, the Astakala Leela, but Krishna is telling Uddhava, you want to become a great Paramahamsa. This is called the Paramahamsa Gita, the Paramahamsa Samhita. Then you realize me in the material way. So, and that is what Lord Chaitanya says in 2 words. Manina, amanine. Don't look for respect in this world, but give respect. Why? Not because somebody is handsome or beautiful or rich or in a high position. Don't give respect for that reason, but give respect because that person is part and parcel of Krishna. That person is not the material body, it is the soul. And you're giving respect to the soul. Yes, we respect our parents, our mother, our father, our nation, the prime minister, so on and so forth. But the spiritualist with jnana chakshus, with spiritual knowledge, he respects because he sees the spirit soul. And he gives, and therefore Krishna tells Uddhava, you pay obeisances to the hog, the dog, the camel, and the ass, knowing that I'm there. I'm there in two ways, as Paramatma and as the individual soul. What does that mean? No, that's an individual. No, that is Krishna. What does Krishna say? Mama angsa. You want to look, we think, I would like to see Parashuram or Matsya, an incarnation. That would be nice. But actually, every living entity is an avatar, if you like. If every living entity is Krishna. You're sitting next to Krishna on the bus in the form of that bus driver. The living entity is non-different from Krishna. But through spiritual knowledge, yes, you see Krishna everywhere. That is the importance of Buddhi Yoga. You listen, you understand Siddhanta, and then the Siddhanta gives you entrance to the spiritual world. Then you develop bhava. So, we'll just finish that shloka. Right? So that's another thing. But here, Krishna is just making the point. People of this world act ceaselessly in pursuance of some ideal by means of those deeds. Now that's very interesting. The deeds that you have to perform, Arjuna, as a battle, these are the means by which you meditate upon the absolute truth. Right? At the beginning, Arjuna had the idea, I'm renouncing the battle. But no, that's your meditation, Arjuna. Meditation. So sometimes people, they think, at the end of the day, I'll meditate on the absolute Brahman. I'll withdraw. Now that's very good. But Bhagavad Gita and Krishna and the Bhagavatam, Vedanta Krit Vedavid Evacha, the aim is to realize Bhagavan. Yes, Brahman is there, Paramatma is there, but you realize Bhagavan. That is the highest state. And Bhagavan is realized through this svabhāva. And so therefore, you transform your life here and now in the material world by performing all your activities as an offering to Krishna. And that means you have to purify. You can't be a criminal and offer that to Krishna. Oh, I'm a bank robber for Krishna. No, that means you should live a pure. Regulative principles are there. You should. That's what Krishna said earlier, right? If you're Brahmanically inclined, follow this. If you're Kshatriya inclined, follow this. But don't think, oh, I'm a Kshatriya, so I'll just kill everyone for Krishna. No. No, you should act in accordance with your nature, but you should avoid pāp. You should avoid punya. Your pious karma, your good behavior, you can offer to Krishna. So that means you'll have to discipline your life. You'll have to walk a pious life. Because the sinful, those that are sinful, they have a natural confusion within the mind, and they can't understand spiritual knowledge. But those that are pious and, regulative principles, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, no lying, no cheating, purity, samadhamma, tapaso, cham, kashanti, mar, all those directions are there. Become pious, and then you'll easily realize Krishna. And then, Krishna explains, then you will obtain devotion characterized by love, prem, in the shape of the supreme service, in the form, the shape. You'll attain. So this is the process of bhakti, very simple. In 5 slokas, Krishna gives it. If you like, I'll read the first one. I'll read them quickly, just so you do it. Okay, Krishna says, the 5 slokas. Here are the 5 slokas of bhakti. Prabhude Jnana Bhakti Bhyam Atmananda Chinmaya. When the pure spiritual experience is excited by means of cognition and service, bhakti, cognition means siddhanta, like I say. Through buddhi, you start to cognize Krishna. And then service, svabhāva. Super excellent, unalloyed devotion characterized by love for Godhead is awakened toward Krishna, the beloved of all souls. So, 2 things, like we always say, svabhāva and siddhanta. Yeah. And then Krishna explains, second of those 5, pramanas tad sadacharas, and then he gives advice how you can. The highest devotion is attained by slow degrees, step by step, just like that plant growing, by the method of constant endeavor for self-realization. So you have to be steady in your application. And then these 3 things, scriptural evidence, pramana. So you should learn the scripture, particularly the Bhagavatam. Theistic conduct, like we just discussed, you should live a pure life. You shouldn't be a rumor monger. You should try to control, develop good character, and then perseverance in practice. Right, perseverance. You should stick at it. So those 3 things: scriptural evidence, pramana, theistic conduct, being a good person, and perseverance. Just like now it's cold and wintry, but still we have to take the bath and chant our rounds. And if we have a problem and we fall away, then we just pick ourselves up and apply ourselves again. Perseverance. And then the next one, these preliminary practices of devotion, sadhana bhakti, are conducive to the realization of loving devotion. So if we practice scriptural evidence, theistic conduct, perseverance, and we're constantly involved in that, then that will give us loving devotion, than whom there is no superior well-being, who goes hand in hand with the attainment of the exclusive state of supreme bliss, and who can lead to myself. So when we become ecstatic through good sadhana, developed sadhana, then you realize Krishna very easily, in full. And then we have today's verse. So Krishna has given the sadhana, scriptural evidence, theistic conduct, perseverance. But then he says, look, okay, you're in the material world, now act piously, but do it for me, majaji, mam namaskaru. Pay obeisances to me in the heart of all living entities. And then the full philosophy of the Vedas in 1 sloka Krishna gives. Aham hi visvasya cha charasya bijam pradhanam prakritim pumamscha mayitam teja idam bibarsi vide videhi tvam ato jiganti. Listen, O Vidhi, I am the seed. So this is the achincha beda beda. If you want to meditate on this sloka and you want to understand achincha beda beda more deeply, then meditate on this sloka. because we have to realize that everything is spiritual. Listen, O Vidhi, he's talking. Vidhi means Brahma. I am the seed. So Krishna is the source, the fundamental principle. So Krishna is the source, and then all the principles of the creation, they are mine. I have created them. Of this world of animate and inanimate objects. He's talking to Lord Brahma. So, he's the seed, the source, and then he is that which has come out of the source, the principles. And then, the fundamental principle. I am pradhan, the substance of matter. That means the pradhan, right? That's the causal ocean. So the spiritual world is made out of the chit shakti. The material world is made out of the interaction of the three modes with pradhan, the substance of the causal ocean. So that is the pradhan. That is the basic substance that the modes act upon to create the material elements, the working senses, the knowledge required, all those things. So, I am the pradhan, that's one. And then I am also prakriti, that which is produced out of the pradhan. Right, this is prakriti, the material energy. But then I am purusha. I am also the enjoyer, the controller. But here the translation is material cause, prakriti. So that means the material cause means the immediate cause. So the immediate cause is the material world. We see that. But what is the purusha? That means the efficient cause. That means the root cause.
The root.
Yeah, just like you could say, think of it this way. This, the material cause of the amplification of my voice is this microphone. But what is the efficient cause? The efficient cause is the electricity that is running through the amplifier, running through the microphone. That is the root cause of it. The microphone is acting in relationship to the electricity. So the prakriti is acting in relationship to purusha. So the pradhan produces prakriti, and it is maintained, resting, sutrimani gana iva, on Krishna, who is purusha. This fiery energy, now this is very interesting, he's talking to Brahman. This fiery energy that belongs especially to the Brahman, that inheres in you. So this is the mode of passion. Lord Brahma is Shaktavesh, he's Gunavatar, he's endowed with great tej, fiery energy, which is bestowed by Purusha, that inheres in you, has also been confirmed by me. You are full of this teja, Lord. It is by bearing this fiery energy that you regulate this phenomenal world, this material world, of animate and inanimate objects. So that's it. Those are the 5 slokas that summarize all Vedantic samara, sadhana and bhava bhakti. So we'll go through these things. Krishna says he's the seed, he's the origin. Then he's the principles, the laws of the creation. And then he gives those 3, pradhan, prakriti, purusha. So those 5 things. That's what, and they are all Krishna. We'll say them again, right? The seed, the source, the principles of the creation, how it works. The material scientists think it's chemical and physical and mathematical. But that is okay, that's a subset. But it's resting upon Krishna's, the principle that Krishna has created. But he's not bound by those. So then, the principles, and then pradhan, prakriti, and purusha. 5 things. So all those things, they are Krishna. But yet Krishna is separate. Achincha bheda bheda. They're non-different from Krishna, they're his creation, but he maintains his separate existence. So that's achincha bheda bheda. You can think in that way. And then that's the purport. It says here, certain thinkers conclude that the non-differentiated Brahman is the ultimate entity. So, but then there's a big discussion there. So we'll finish on this point, and that's what Krishna is explaining here. Svabhāva-jena kaunteya. Under illusion, that means under the Maya Shakti, you are now declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by the work born of your nature, you will act all the same. And the other sloka, yes. Yeah, we'll discuss that next week. Krishna gives good ideas, good philosophy. Yeah. You see, you're according to my direction. That is the important point. That the Mahatma, the pure devotees, they are in this state of prakashante Mahatmana. We are in the Maya Shakti, so we're confused. Oh, what does that mean? I don't know. But the great devotees, they live in a situation of realization, increasing knowledge, perfection, eternally. So, Buddhi Yoga means to think, well, I want that. Right? Who doesn't want that? Eternal life full of bliss and knowledge, right? We want, what do we want? We want, the philosophers, what do they, just to summarize, we are Satchitananda Vigraha. So throughout literature and art and poets throughout time, they've always, that question has come up through many philosophers. Who am I? Some guy's working in a factory or he's opening a factory, but then one evening he's 55-year-old or 60. Who am I really? What's my real nature, right? Many people write pop songs. Who am I? I don't understand who I am, but I'm carrying on. So we want to know our swarup, our vigraha. And then what do we want? We want anand, right? We want, because that's our nature. We intuitively feel, I want bliss. I want to be ecstatic. I don't want to work in the factory. I want to live in a state of happiness and brilliance. And what is that brilliance? Is chit. I want to live not in a confused state, but I want to be enlightened. Right? That's our chit nature. And I want to be in that state eternally. That's our sat nature. So everyone can understand that, isn't it? Everyone can think, yeah, I don't want to die, I don't want to end. I want to be eternal. I want to have knowledge. I'm going to university, but in Kali Yuga they're just edifices of stupidity. The professors, Maya, Prita Gyan, they're selling stupid knowledge and taking $200,000, and then they give you a piece of paper. Oh, I've got a degree in gender studies. What am I going to do with that? So this is the modern world. The educational, Prabhupada called them slaughterhouses. People go there and they get slaughtered. They don't get any chit. And we want bliss. We want, So people, what are they doing? Oh, I'll take some daru. I'll feel some bliss. I'll go to the wedding and get drunk, and then I'll feel great. So we want bliss, but we don't know how to get bliss. And then I want to know who am I really? You know, sometimes a man is married to a woman and he realizes, I've been married to her for 30 years and I don't know who she is. You know, right? You know, if you read literature, that's the kind of thing that goes on, right? Or even personally, you know. And then she's looking at the husband and thinking, I've been married to him for 30 years and I can't figure him out. I don't know who he is. So this is the material world. The who is always changing, it's convoluting. We're in this Mahamaya confused state. Yeah, so the Bhagavatam here, you're not acting according to my directions. So the lifeline to Yogamaya is the directions of the spiritual master. So we have to become dedicated, nirantaram, constantly. And if we have trouble, we just rededicate ourselves. If you fall off the bicycle, what do? You don't sell the bicycle, you get back on. Because nowadays people are falling off the bike. You can't even ride a bicycle, it's so crowded in Vrindavan. So Vrindavan Dham has become Vrindavan Jam. The traffic is so much. But still, we have to endeavor. And that dedication to the spiritual master's instructions, the Shastra, the Acharyas, that dedication is the price we pay. That is our tapasya. And tapasya is very simple, because what is that spiritual, what is that direction? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, right? People think, oh, it's a Purushottam month, I have to do austerity. Somebody once asked me, what austerity you're doing for Purushottam? Well, the same as before. I'm not going to sit in the river, icy river up to my neck. I'm just going to increase my Shravanam Kirtanam. So always remember that. That is our tapasya in Kali Yuga. To read Bhagavatam and related literature, study Siddhanta, Pramana, and to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That dedication to those two things will give us smaranam. Smaranam will give us realization of Krishna. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita Sadhu Sangha Ke Jai.